Hello, welcome everybody to another episode of Serpentbird Activation. I'm your host, Serpentbird. Today we have a special guest, Mythic Matt. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Lori, Serpentbird.
Awesome. So I'm going to begin with your amazing um, history in Denver as a speaker and an artist. So today we're at the workshops building with it, which is my art studio here. Matt has done a lot of public speaking at a variety of places like the Denver Art Museum, Redline, Comic Con, and Denver Startup Week. He's also hosted Mythic Monday, which was about 100 episodes of video podcast on Instagram. And is that still available for view?
So you can check out the stories, and that'll show you the sketches that we created for each one of the shows. And so the way that we did it was you could you could hear the stories of each one of the figures that we featured on the podcast. Every week we would feature a unique mythic figure, and sometimes historical, sometimes pop culture, and we would go into their story and the meaning behind their narrative, and I would create a live sketch, and then at the end we would come together and talk about what's coming through the art, what's coming through the storytelling. And yeah, we did this 100 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know what kind of energy that it takes to do a series like that. I do. Um, So I wanted to kind of highlight a couple things. Today we're going to focus in on the theme of the goddess because Matt has brought four of his paintings with him. Today we're going to focus on the one here on display in a moment, as well as he has been super excited and brave to start his own art collective. It's called the Creative Champion Collective. So we wanted to make an episode today to let everyone know that there is a meeting coming up in Denver that we expect all of you painters and artists, and he'll explain more what the collective is, to come together. Because, as you know, in the world and climate today, we need community more than ever to be tight knit. And, here at Serpentbird Activation, I have my collective of artists and writers and things like that. And I think it's really fun to explore the theme of collectives working with other collectives, networks working with other networks. So that's why we're here. And
Amen to that.
so, yeah, so can you start to explain all the juicy details of the four pillars and the things on your Creative Champion website?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. And I do invite all artists who really seek that path and really want to make something of your craft to come and join us on the 24th at Mutiny Information Cafe, starting at 5:30, going to 7:30, and this one is going to be more experiential. So the first gathering that we had was, who we are, what we're about, what we're doing, what the big picture is, and this is more the aliveness of art, really the felt sense of why we need art in our lives, why it's important in the world. So, for those of you who are just learning about what it is that we're talking about, the Creative Champion Collective brings together artists, mentors, patrons, and ambassadors, the four pillars, into one ecosystem, and the aim of which is to open up that aliveness, not just in Denver, but all across the world. So, if you go to the website, it's in the V1 form right now. You can see what we're, who we are, what the benefits are for each one of the different pillars. For the artists, it's really about making a living through your craft, through being in your zone and being able to fully do what you do. And for mentors, I think of teachers who really, you're doing one of the most honorable jobs in the world. You are imbuing people with the wisdom that you've gained over so many years. And it's my conviction that you should be able to profit from that. You should be able to live off of your wisdom rather than having to grind and doing the same thing year after year. I know so many who are in that boat. I know I've been in that boat too. I've definitely been in that boat. And for ambassadors, really another word is like the super fans, the people who are the most avid, the most vocal, the most passionate about that craft, and going out into the world and advocating for those people, advocating for the creators in rooms that they may not have access to, places that the
Mhm.
artists may not have even thought to go. And word of mouth is still one of the most powerful forms of
Mhm.
marketing. If someone you have someone going out and speaking for you on your behalf, that can mean so much more than even that artist can say for themselves. It's incredibly powerful stuff. And when you team up with that artist, that's a powerful collaboration right there. And of course, the patrons. This is someone who wants to create a legacy through those funds, through their support in a real way. And I mean, we can all support artists in intangible ways, like sharing posts and liking
Mhm.
liking pictures and all that kind of good stuff, and it really shows that you appreciate that artist. What I'm talking about is tangibly giving that lifeblood, those funds towards those creative projects, and not just so artists can just make more art, right? We all want that, but that can naturally come out of allowing that artist, dare I say it, to live a flourishing life, out of which they're going to be able to create their best work.
Mhm.
And so when you put all of those things together, just think about what a powerful world that creates. Think about what a powerful community you can make when
Mhm.
you have all of these forces working together.
So I just want to make sure everyone knows where they need to go
Mm,
to find. Some people might not have heard of Info Cafe. I just want to
mm,
share every time I've gone to Mutiny Info Cafe, I usually go to either Matt's meetings for a variety of his talks or about this upcoming collective gathering. But I've also been there for punketry and done some of my spoken word, and so Mutiny Info Cafe is a fabulous underground kind of
mm.
punk rock vibe kind of a place. And so just tell us more about the month, the day, the time, and all of that so we know where to go.
Yes, absolutely. So it's on January 24th. It goes from 5:30 to 7:30. And yes, Mutiny Information Cafe is one of the, in my opinion, one of the coolest places in Denver that you can go. It brings together coffee, comic books, live events, awesome community, totally plugged in with
Photo
the
booth.
photo yes, photo booth. Totally
Records, final records, right?
records. You keep on going. Yeah,
Yes.
like just brings together so many rad things in one space, and totally supportive of uplifting creators. In fact, when I shared the Creative Champion Collective with Jim, one of the owners, he was so stoked that we planned out 5 events in sequence.
Excellent.
The first one, which was late last year, was in November, and then one per quarter this year. So this one coming up, and then we got 3 more. We got one in April, one in July, and one in October.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
there is so much enthusiasm around this, and that's one of the things that most encourages me and excites me is when I share this with people, when I share this with my community. There are just so many voices who believe and want this to happen, and not only that, say let me not just believe, let me dig my hands into the soil and help make this real. Let me help actually make this a real thing. So any artists who are listening right now, let that be an encouragement that there are actually people out there who care very, very deeply and actually want to help make this a real thing because it's worth that much. And I was thinking about this the other day. We see all of these honestly wretched things happening around us.
Hmm.
Not to throw bum vibes, but it is really real. It's really something that we have to live with and something we have to to grapple with. And some could say, well, what's the purpose of art in a climate like this? What we have the house is on fire and you're painting. What are you doing? Thankfully I don't get anybody who's that frank or
Well, they
that.
say during
you know
revolutionary times, art and music is the best that it
it
ever
is
is,
it
right? So,
is it
with
is
that said, do you
well,
think that we can
yes,
soon
I have.
talk about the painting?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we will. I have this to say in response is I don't do what I do. What artists don't do what we do. I think I can speak for artists when I say this. We don't do it as an escape from the shitty things outside. We do it as a direct response
Hmm.
to those things. We do it because the world needs it.
Right.
Because the world needs respiriting, especially in these times.
Hmm.
So the artist, the world needs you, artists. The world needs us.
Yes.
So keep doing what you do.
All right. So, tell us more about your goddess series.
Mm. Yeah. So this is the first piece in the series. It's called Bond of Immaculate Grace, and this features Kuan Yin, Mary Magdalene, and Isis. And though they're from different cultures, they have connections between them. So the woman who commissioned me to do this piece has a deep affinity for all three of them, which I didn't really realize before I started creating this piece. And that's one of the things that I find happens so often with the process of my artwork is it's as much a process of creation of discovery as it is of creation. So there's a book called The Magdalene Manuscripts, which talks about Mary Magdalene's life, and in the book they claim to channel her. They claim to have summoned her, and that she speaks about her life. And her claim is that she was an initiate of the temple of Isis, so that connects both of them in a very interesting and mystical way. And one of Kuan Yin's epithets that she's known by is the Mary Magdalene of the East. I believe that really speaks to compassion, and now we have this triad going on, and I didn't learn about that until after I was well into this piece, well into when they were placed, and I'd already done the composition and done the base colors and all that good stuff. So that was kind of baked in before before I discovered that, right? But that's something that I find happens so often with my artwork. Call it synchronicity, call it divine connection, or whatever your name is for it, right? But that something mystical and unexplainable really comes through in ways other than like, go beyond our logical comprehension. And you know, uh, historically, I'd always been someone who I needed to have an explanation for for the world around me to understand things. Otherwise, it's like I discarded as kind of fairy type nonsense. So
I think
I had
I
to
know
go
what you're
through an
talking
arc.
about.
You know?
I think let me give you some, can I
Yeah.
connect with you on
Go
that?
ahead.
So I feel the same, and that's how I felt a connection with
Mm,
you, is that we are really interested in depth and the
mm,
mysteries,
mm,
and mystery schools and sacred sites and things like that. And so that's actually why I was really drawn to Matt's art. And when we met at the Gypsy House coffee shop, he was actually unveiling a series of pieces that are goddess oriented. So, we've kind of kept in touch on and off. And I'm just really excited that you're here because we're just trying to, yeah, we're just trying to like get to know each other and on a deeper level. And I just really appreciate that you do want to interpret the world in a depth kind of a way, because I think now things have a trend of like surface level. So I really appreciate that.
yeah. Thank you. And I do appreciate that we have that too. I do appreciate that we're naturally very curious people. We naturally want to see the world as it is. We naturally want to see the world in all of the depth and mystery that it has to offer, because that's where all the gems are. That's where really where the deep truths are that we're all, I think many of us are seeking, is, how is the world really? How is the world actually beyond what people agree upon, or beyond beyond what we can comprehend? And that's that's where the magic is. So yeah, this series is called Visions Beyond the Glass. This is the first piece of that series. I've since completed 9 pieces out of 11, so I've got 2 more to go.
Nice.
Yes, I'm almost there.
I can feel the sense of relief.
Yeah, I know.
Coming in.
I know, but I'm trying to be more excited than I am relieved that they're done. But yeah, um, definitely going to be have some big celebration once they're
So,
all
what are the
together,
other
all
two
finished.
going to be about?
The final 2. Well, I'll just run through what each of them are.
Sure.
So this one, and this is the only one that features 3 of them, and then the next one is Yamaya, and then Lakshmi. We have her right there, off camera there, and then Kali, Sedna. Wait, Sedna's number 6. Scheherazade, number 5, and then Sedna is number 6. So she's at the center, the very center. And then Oshun, who is also from Yoruban culture, um, as is Yamaya. And then Gaia, and the last one, the one I just completed, is Amaterasu. She's the Japanese sun goddess.
Wow.
And yeah, and she is extraordinary. My gosh, she is something. Uh, and then the final 2 are Fortuna from Greek myth, and then I am doing one from Greek myth. Okay, there we go. We were just talking about how I'd not done one from Greek myth, which is really weird. And then Ishtar, who's from Sumerian culture.
And I am Serpentbird, which is taken from Quetzalcoatl. So Quetzalcoatl is, well, one day, if you read my memoir, which I had on the show last week, um, I talk about how I created the Serpentbird, and it started out that I just needed a poetry name, something that I could stay consistent with, but it means so many things. So when I was thinking about the word Quetzalcoatl, I was like, well, what is this serpent and bird thing? And I was like, oh, I guess it's breaking down into a snake and a bird. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be a flying snake bird that can transform into anything I want, wherever I want at any time. And so, yeah, so just kind of bringing that forward into the circle of goddess talk today, that I'm really passionate about goddess mysteries, because if you look at my birth chart, my whole life mission actually is to mainly help ground divine feminine energy onto the planet. Because it's not that I'm trying to dominate with feminine energy or anything like that. It's just that, as you know, you were saying, a lot of the conflicts in the world happening from my perspective, it helps for me to actually present myself in a feminine way to kind of help balance what's going on the planet. That's my
Mm.
belief.
Love that, and again, that response to the world around us with that softness and nurturing, which I would say the world deeply needs also right now,
Mm-hmm.
as um, yeah, deeply needs more than ever. Really, is that nurturingness and softness and intuition. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's beautiful.
I also really am resonating with this question that I came up with, which is, I've seen you since the very beginning, in your public speaking and leadership. And it's really important to me to talk about leadership right now.
Mm.
Um, can you kind of explain what you've learned over the years of being a leader in the art community in Denver?
Mm. Well, for one thing, I've learned that it's a huge benefit to be able to have intelligent people around you from many different dimensions. I'm naturally a really curious person, and I like to learn from as many places as I can, as many people as I can,
Mm-hmm.
and honing. my discernment, and there's one thing I wish, if I were to like wave my magic wand and wish that we could all learn one skill, is to be able to learn what someone has to say that's substantive, like what's real that they have to say, and then be able to spit out the bullshit that they have to say. Be able to separate those two things. Be able to
Would you
say,
use your sword for that?
my sword,
Yeah.
yeah, wave my Conan blade. Yes. By the way, this is the replica of the Conan the Barbarian Atlantean sword from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Thanks for the segue on that.
Nice bullshit buffer.
Nice bullshit buffer. Cut out the bullshit.
Okay, and then you did
Mhm.
mention a few times the word magic. You mentioned ritual, I believe. So I want to come out with this question. How have you helped people in the Creative Champion Collective reclaim their voice through art
Mm,
and ritual?
mm. It's giving people hope, or at least helping them realize that there is hope. That someone cares enough, that people care enough to make a difference, to make something like this real, where art can flourish, where artists can flourish, where we can have pathways to do what we do best, right? And you were there, you were at the first event, and one of the things that we talked about was we went into some data, we went into some statistics of like how artists flourish when you have a mentor. What percentage of artists accelerate when you have that mentorship, or when you have word of mouth, and the valuation of the art market globally, trillions. Literally, I'll say it again, trillions. So it's not that art isn't valuable. It's literally that we're not getting our due. And I'm not trying to paint this whole, frame of pity party, whatever, but it's just real. Like we're think about that. Like what value we're creating, we're putting out into the world, and guess what? We're even more empowered to do that when we're compensated for what we do, right? So if you are someone that you're really passionate about what you do and want to improve in what you do, like you're about that growth path, and it's not so much that you don't have the will to climb so much as don't know where the ladder is to climb, because we need those two things. We need the means, and we also need the will to climb, to go forward, to go higher in our crafts. When you have both of those things, well, there you go, you know. But that hasn't been the case, We're, um, I know for myself, I've done market after market after market. Um, I've done many different podcasts and all this and that and the other. I've been featured a number of times. I've been really happy to be. I've been in the Westward. I've been in uh, Rocky Mountain PBS and all these things. And yeah, still it's still it's like been a churn after those things. Still got to keep on hustling and grinding. So who all is out there that's creating a community like this,
Mhm.
where we have all these dynamic parts working together in this way that uplifts art and artists all across the world? I tell you, if I'd seen something like this, I'd be the first to sign up for it, but I haven't. Instead, I see a great need.
Yeah, we
I
need
see
more community, more
I see great need around me.
cohesiveness. Yeah.
I see a great need shared by many artists, many people in our communities, and so it's up to us to come together. It's up to us to make it happen. Oh, and by the way, for the artists who are interested in joining in on the 24th, I'm giving away artist business tools that I've created for free. if you're interested in banding up with this or you're interested in checking us out. And one of those, I'll give you a little taste. One of those are, which I call the Tales of Sales.
Okay.
And this is, uh, so what that is for myself, I've created a handful of instances. There's like 10 different stories in there where, say, someone has purchased a workshop or a commission or, made a transaction of some kind, right? So whenever you sell something, you have three things. One, you've got the money in the bank. Two, you've got a hopefully happy customer, patron, supporter, whatever your word is. And three, if we're paying attention, we have the story of how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can take that story, say, where did I meet that person? Where was I all the way up to when they made that transaction? Like, how did that happen? Then we can take that and we can say, how can I put myself into those situations again? How can I make it so that that's not just one instance? How I can make that a repeatable formula to try and get that same result. Like, say you were in a certain festival and the vibe was right, the connection with the people was right, and that's how it ended up. Say you sold like a $500 thing or $2,000 thing or whatever. I would want to figure out what happened. I'd want to figure out how did I do that, right?
Well, do you have like a little notebook and you kind of write the stuff down,
well,
or what do
well,
you
so
do?
that's what this is. That's what this
Oh.
is, and I've kept track of what was our relationship like, what was, if I know their occupation, all those things. So I want to know as much relevant information about that I can. So you as artists can use that template and figure that out for yourself too. I mean, I'll provide my own stories, how it happened for me. Then you can take that. You're going out into the world and finding out, oh, what works, you know, what works for me that I can go and do that again and again to get those similar results.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we kind of have to wrap it up for today. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, like with your arts or magic?
Yeah. Well, I would say that thank you. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be with people who honor culture, who honor the world, who honor that spirit of aliveness. And really, that's what the art is all about. Is we're not just selling paintings. We're not, well, the paintings are the vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really what comes through those portals to imagination and aliveness and imbuing us with that sense of our own soul. That's what we're really going for. That's what's true art to me, is when we're able to do that. Is and this is one of my favorite compliments. I love this whenever someone sees a piece of art and you can just see through their eyes that
Mm-hmm.
something comes alive in them, like they found a piece of themselves in that art. And when you're able to create something that evokes that for someone, that when they see it, their eyes light up, their whole being is just like, wow, like that's like there's a piece of me in that art. It's mirroring it back to me. It's a reminder, it's a tangible reminder of who I really am, what I really value, what really brings me to life.
I feel like that's like the essence of a champion, is
Mm.
like that whole process you just explained. So thank you for being on Serpentbird Activation today. I was wondering if you want to take your cigar and we'll just do a little cigar toast, okay? So just cheers me.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks everybody. Thanks for watching Serpentbird Activation, and come on out to Mutiny and we'll have all the details at the bottom of the YouTube.
All right. Thank you. This has been awesome.